After an instant classic, Brian Castano says he believes he was robbed in the fight with Jermell Charlo, and he wants that rematch. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel. Throw a like on the video. That goes a long way when you guys click on that. Now, last night was a great fight. Jermell Charlo versus Brian Castano. Now, I predicted this. I knew this would be a good fight. There was a split decision draw. Charlo says that he believes he won. Brian Castano said he believes he won. This is what Brian Castano had to say. He says, and I quote, "Charlo, he's a good puncher. He caught me with some big punches at times, but I survived. It was a tough fight, but I felt that they robbed me. That's the way I feel. I'm not taking anything away from Jermell Charlo. You know, although he caught me with big punches at times, I survived and I won the fight. Needless to say, I want the rematch because Charlo, he still has the 3 belts that I need and I believe should be mine." Right? I'm ready for the rematch. He won the 2nd, 10th, and the 11th, and that's it. Yes, of course. Yes, of course, he felt it was a robbery. He hurt me in the 2nd round. I hurt him in the 3rd round. I think that may have opened the door for some of the judges to score it a draw. I don't agree with it. I felt I was robbed, and I demand a rematch. I would love to have a rematch because there should be only one super welterweight champion, said Castano. I think if Charlo isn't afraid of the rematch, and I don't think he is afraid, I don't know what his plans are. If he's moving up to 160, that's up to him. But as I said, I need 3 belts that he has. I'm up for the rematch, of course. I don't know exactly what his plans are, end quote. Now, this is my opinion. Classic fight. I don't want to take away from the fight was a classic. You know, some people are saying, oh, you could tell from this picture who won and all that. I mean, some of y'all read too much into everything. This could be a look of disappointment because he felt he won, like he said. So of course he's gonna not be smiling because he felt he won. You know what I mean? I mean, you could look into whatever. Both guys are claiming that they won. That's a good thing. And the other good thing is they're all with the same people. It's not like when Castaño, when he went over to Golden Boy, he had to fight on enemy territory to fight a Golden Boy fighter, and he beat him in Patrick Teixeira, right? So this shouldn't be hard to get the rematch cracking, in my opinion, based on them both being with Al Heyman. They just had a successful fight. I don't know what the ratings are or anything like that, but it looks like the fans would want it, you know, especially when there's controversy. That means the rematch is always going to sell. You look at fights like even Mayweather-Maidana. To me, there wasn't controversy in the first fight like that, but some people claim that they thought it was a draw and Floyd ran it back and beat him even more convincingly. So this will be good, you know, learning lesson for Jermell Charlo. He's had, you know, this will kind of be his second fight in the last several years where he had a guy and some people felt the other guy won or they gave it to him. And I'm obviously referring to the Tony Harrison fight. So he came back and showed you who he is in the sequel and knocked out Tony Harrison. So it'll be interesting to see if either guy could produce a knockdown or knockout in the rematch, since they're both familiar with each other's styles now. Now, there's a lot of people who jump over the edge and they say everything's a robbery. Man, to me, this was a close fight. Different people scored it differently. I can understand a draw, definitely. Like you have to understand that boxing is a mathematical equation, and you go score the rounds round by round, and then you determine a winner. Like, just look at all the scorecards. People's scorecards are all over the place. So that goes to show you that this was a close fight, because if it was such a dominant performance by only one fighter, then everybody would have the same rounds. But if you look at it, not everyone has the same rounds. Like I seen some people gave round 1 to Castaño, and then I seen other people gave round 1 to Jermell Charlo. And then Jermell Charlo obviously won round 2. So on some people's scorecard, Charlo won round 1 and 2. And then Castaño came back and it looked like he hurt Jermell Charlo in the 3rd round, so he won that round. So this was the nature of the fight. This is an elite level fight when the best is fighting the best. This is typically what you get. You know, you get 2 guys who no one wants to lose their strap. No one wants to lose in general. No one wants to be put back in the queue and have to go start from the beginning and stuff like that. So that's what I seen. That's what I seen last night. It was just an awesome fight. 2 valiant warriors, both elite level. It was a skillful display. In my opinion, there's things that Castaño did right and there's things that he did wrong. Same thing with Jermell Charlo. There's things that Jermell Charlo did right and things that he did wrong. Like for me, what I didn't understand from Charlo is why he was always on the ropes. Like, you know, you're the bigger man. You're supposed to be the more experienced guy. And that's where Castaño was doing his best work. When Charlo's back, like you see in this frame, you see Charlo's back was against the rope. And I think Castaño ripped his best punches and combinations when this was the setup. If you look at the whatever round it was where Charlo was, for the most part, in the center of the ring, he controlled that. He was jabbing. He was he had a escape route where he was, like, you know, able to move freely and stuff like that. I have no idea why Charlo decided to languish on the ropes. And I think Charlo made the fight harder than it needed to be in that regard. You know, it's like he fought kind of more like he fought Jason Rosario in this particular fight. And I think there would have been, I think the difference is Jason Rosario is just kind of like a big dude and a big puncher. So that was super dangerous and he had longer arms. But I think he had shown that he can hurt Castaño in round 2. So I would have personally liked to see Jermell press him earlier in the fight in certain spots and get off the ropes as the bigger person. But for whatever reason, you know, he languished on the ropes, and that's when Castaño, to me, shined. There was in the 3rd round especially, Castaño hit Charlo with a couple punches and he landed like a left hook, I think it was. And then it kind of buzzed Charlo. And then Charlo was like weaving and trying to counter and stuff. And then he got caught with another hook on the same side. And I was like, ooh. And that was clearly a Castaño round. So all in all, this was high level stuff. Nice body shot. High level stuff. Overall, Jermell's defense was real good, I thought. But when it was on the ropes, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't exactly where it needed to be. So fun fight. This is what happens. Like I said, you have 2 guys that are the same exact age, 31. Charlo a little bit taller, more pro experience, but they kept bringing up how Castaño had beaten Errol Spence in the amateur. So, and he was coming off a win where he beat a guy on a Golden Boy card, a Golden Boy fighter. So you see Castaño has a little bit, he has less fights, so he has a higher KO percentage. And I guess Jermell had more inactivity, so maybe that has something to do with it. All in all, I just know I want to see the rematch. I think the world deserves the rematch. Hopefully Showtime, PBC can get that done. I definitely want to see them get that done because I think this is, you know, they might even try to do it on pay-per-view. I don't know, but the way they fought, I would definitely be up for it, just no matter how it comes. You know, if you could put Logan Paul and Mayweather on pay-per-view, then that Castaño might be a pay-per-view now, just based on the story. And it looks like Castaño has a bunch of fans now, according to what people are saying in the comment section. So support your dude. Good fight. I can break down the fight in its entirety, but I'll probably do that in another video. Castaño says he was robbed. I don't like the robbery term because it wasn't that type of fight. A robbery is when you see someone get blown out the water and they don't do like absolutely nothing, and then somehow the judges have them winning. That wasn't even the tempo of this type of fight, because it's just so funny. And I have to break it down in the breakdown video, but Normally, like, there was parts where Castaño was actually running, like literally running to evade and buy time and stuff like that. And it's funny to see old media, when it's a non-black fighter, they don't say anything. No one calls Castaño a runner, even though that's exactly what he did. But let Floyd Mayweather be fighting the bigger Canelo, you see all these comments saying Floyd is a runner and he ran, and all this and that. So all in all, run it back. I want to see that rematch. It was unfortunate that these straps aren't in the hand of one fighter, but just based on how the fight was and how I couldn't see, it was difficult to score. Just look online. Some people gave round 12 to Castaño. I didn't. I gave it to Charlo. I thought Charlo won the championship rounds, which is why I could see the draw. You know what I mean? He definitely inflicted the more consistent pain, but you had Castaño, who had a great game plan, great coaching, and he stayed busy. It was just, like I said, it's a great fight. This is what happens. Best versus best styles clash, and both guys trying to win. One guy has more volume, the other guy has harder shots, but less of them. Great fight. Hopefully they do the rematch. I really would have wished Jermell Charlo actually, instead of deferring to his team and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna check with Al Heyman," I wish he would have just said, "I want the rematch." That's my only I guess thing that I had to add is I would like to see Jermell take the rematch. So I would have liked him to just, instead of deferring to his team, just been like, told his thoughts about what he wants. And then he kind of did afterwards, but that would have been better if it was the first thing he said. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a detailed comment. Don't just say who you thought won with no explanation. Tell me what rounds they won, all that good stuff. Use my link in the description to get TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is an awesome browser extension to help you level up your content. I've been using it to make money for years. You can too. Click the link in the description. Castaño, Charlo Part 2, who wins? I think this will be an awesome opportunity for both guys to show the adjustments, really the adjustments that they're capable of making, because it's going to be needed for both. You have Castaño, who was doing good, and then he ended up getting hurt and taking rounds to recover, and that could have cost him. And then you had Jermell Charlo, who wasn't throwing enough, and some of his stuff he was doing well, like his jab, maybe he wasn't on his jab enough, and he was on the ropes. So both guys can make adjustments. I want to see it. I'll happily pay for the rematch. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. You did. I'm working. We working.